This week on the RacerX Show, we have high-flying action from High Point. Some fell down, some got up, and some just brought out a broom and started sweeping. James Stewart is in a spot of bother, and we'll tell you why. Dirt track was in Iowa, and steel shoes were sliding in what turned out to be a blast from the past. Pro ATV was in Ohio on a very fast and unpredictable Briarcliff MX. We have road race highlights from Fontana, California. It's the Superbike Shootout. And we get you up to speed on the happenings in the woods. GNCC from Snowshoe, West Virginia. And to Sacramento for all the stumps you can jump. Endurocross. All that and more right now, only on Racer TV. Hello everyone and welcome to the RacerX Show presented by Chaparral. We're a power sports racing highlight show and we'll bring you lots of stuff from the pros all the way to some local homegrown racing heroes. We're going to do motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides and we'll show you what we get. And hey, we're in the middle of the Racer Productions offices in Morgantown, West Virginia. I mean, like, this is a room in the middle of an office. So if you hear the phone ring or you hear people talking, well, that's because there's a lot of cool racing stuff going on right here. So let's not delay any longer. It's highlight time. We're going to start you off with Pro Motocross. It's round 4 from High Point. A huge crowd and beautiful weather greeted the Pro Motocross field in Mount Morris, Pennsylvania on Saturday. Now let's take you straight into 450 Moto 1 highlights. Number 22, Discount Tire 22 Motorsports, Chad Reed out front early on his Kawasaki, but number 7, James Stewart on his Yoshimura Suzuki inside, square up pass to take over the lead. James's younger brother Malcolm, well, he out-qualified his older brother, but down hard with a wrist injury. Also, Jake Weimer, and Weimer didn't look that good. And how about Hot Sauce, Ivan Tedesco? He retired, but we're not done just yet. There was a Red Bull KTM battle brewing until Ken Roczen, trying to reel in Ryan Dungey, hit the deck, but the young Roczen would restart quickly and get back up. Now Dungey number 5, he's been here before and was taking evasive action to keep his teammate at bay. But then Dungey made this mistake. Offline, short, and that could have been a huge disaster for Ryan. Rejoins in a safe spot. But the tale of the day was domination from James Stewart. 2 weeks in a row, and Stewart wins the first moto. So moto number 1 looked like this. Roczen rebounds to second. Dungey able to hold it together for the final podium spot. Quick starter Reed, 5th. But after that pass on Reed, it was all number 7. Fast forward a couple hours to the 450 Moto 2 race. The Discount Tire 22 Motorsports, Chad Reed was at it again. But Stewart was on a pencil-tucky mission, wasting no time in making quick work up the hill. But number 41, Muscle Milk Honda's Trey Kennard was keeping Stewart close. And to the delight of the crowd, big air on this hip jump double. Dungey and Roczen were at it again, but this time, Dungey makes the mistake and tips over. But you gotta remount and keep it going when you're in the points hunt. But even though Kennard was close, Stewart was the man all day long, doing the double, and of course, the overall. Moto 2 results from the big class. Kennard so close in second. Roczen beats his teammate again, the final spot in the box. But first win since Millville last year for Stewart. So let's hear from him.
I got to give a shout out to my team. We've been working hard, and I've been almost trying to tell them, like, man, we get it, we'll be all right. And I normally suck at this track, so to be able to come here, the bike was awesome today. So can't give those guys enough credit for that, the hard work. It didn't start off that good, but to come back, win last weekend, and to come back and back it up with a 1-1 is phenomenal. So thank you, fans. Get a week off and enjoy it.
Of course, going 1-1 gives you the overall. Nothing better than that. Ken Roczen leaves PA with a 2-3 finish to log 42 points, and Kennard with his 4-2 holds on to 3rd overall, 2 points ahead of Dungey. With 8 motos of 24 in the books, Ken Roczen had his worst finish of the year in Moto 2, 3rd. All the rest, 1st or 2nd. No wonder he's in the lead, but Stewart is making a steady run, 3 wins in the last 5 motos. We move now to the 250 class in Moto 1. Early on, it was Frenchman number 377, Christophe Pourcel, on the Valley Yamaha with the early jump. But Justin Bogle on his Geico Honda soon took that away. But Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki's Blake Baggett, coming off a Moto 2 win at Thunder Valley, was on a charge. Meanwhile, number 19, Jeremy Martin, who coming into this event had 5 wins in 6 motos, used his Yamalube Star Racing Yamaha YZ250F to get around number 32, Bogle, for second. But the class of the field in this one, for his second moto win in a row, Blake Baggett. Martin regained some of his form after his 6th place finish last week in Moto 2, and 37 Cooper Webb, teammate for Martin, behind him in 3rd. Webb has yet to beat Martin so far this season. Off we go to Moto number 2. When the gate dropped, it's a long drag race up the hill into turn number 1. And in this dirt, Christophe Pourcel on the 377 had it dialed in, his second hole shot of the day. But when the dust settled, eyes were on the number 4 of Blake Baggett, here powering around teammate Justin Hill on the 35. Next on the list, Rockstar Energy KTM's Jason Anderson. Up the inside and steals the line. That was that. And what about our Jackrabbit starter Pourcel? In the very same section, he took Anderson on the inside. He rails around the outside to take over the number 1 position. That is all he would need to log his 3rd Moto win in a row, second of the day. Watch out, folks. Here comes Blake Baggett, and quite a Father's Day gift for his dad, Tom. How about Jason Anderson with a career best 2nd? Pourcel able to capitalize on his good start with 3rd. But series quick starter Jeremy Martin ties his worst finish of the season in 6th. Now's the time when we hear from our winner.
I hope Chupacabra's back, but I got to give it up to everybody that's been helping me out. The whole Monster Energy Kawasaki team, Parts Unlimited, Thor, Alpine Star, my mom, my dad, my trainer Kurt, my other trainer Marty, my girlfriend, and my whole entire family's been there for me. SRAM components, Specialized Bicycles, and Maxima Oil, just making it happen. And my Dunlop tires and Scott goggles were awesome.
Well, there are those on the rise like Blake Baggett and those on the fall like Jeremy Martin. 2.6 for the 21-year-old, 2nd overall, but only 37 points scored. Anderson and Bogle, same points, but with Anderson 2nd in Moto 2, he gets 4th. The chase for number 1 looks like this. Martin, who started off the year 5 for 5, stays on top, his teammate Webb fading in 2nd place. With Baggett's Moto 2 disaster in round 2 long gone, he's rolling with 3 wins in a row. In Moto news, it was revealed on June 19th that James Stewart was informed by the World Anti-Doping Agency, or WADA, that he had failed a drug test on April 12, 2014, a test he took after the Seattle AMA FIM Supercross race. Also, word came out that as of June 20th, Stewart is provisionally suspended from competition. Now, found in Stewart's system was amphetamines. From what? We don't know. But Yoshimura Suzuki, Stewart's employer, stated that it came from a doctor's prescription for a long-term medical condition. Now, the FIM sent out a statement that reads this, quote, "A provisional suspension imposed by the FIM does not in any way prejudge the question as to whether an anti-doping rule violation under Article 2 of the FIM Anti-Doping Code has actually been committed. This question will be addressed by the FIM's International Disciplinary Court, or CDI, when it adjudicates on the merits of the case," end quote. But Stewart is in the middle of the Pro Motocross season, not an FIM series or under the WADA umbrella. Outdoor is drug testing with USADA, the United States Anti-Doping Agency, and Stewart was blood tested in Colorado on routine tests. The results have not come back yet. However, keep in mind, this can be a long process to find out what happened and if Stewart is guilty of the infraction. If he is found guilty, he becomes ineligible to compete. But until that time, in the outdoor series, Stewart can take the gate if he so chooses. Now, there might be long-term ramification if he decides to race during the period of his provisional suspension, if he's found guilty. However, it would be premature and irresponsible under the, innocent until proven guilty idea to ban Stewart from competition. So basically, the door is open for him to compete, but it's up to Stewart if he really wants to race or not. More on this as the story develops, and it will, over the next several weeks. All right, so let's switch some gears now, shall we? How about some racing where you take the front brakes off, scrub speed by going sideways in the dirt, and almost all the time you turn left. We call that AMA Pro Flat Track. It's fast, furious, and fun, well, to watch anyway. And hey, have you ever heard the phrase history repeats itself? Well, I don't know if that's all true or not, but last weekend in Knoxville, Iowa, it sure seemed like it. One question heading into Sunday afternoon's race: was the dirt gonna be good? World of Outlaw cars raced the night before, and they can beat up a track. But word from pole sitter Jared Mees was AMA Pro did a great job of managing the dirt, so it's race on. When action started, it was number 80 Stevie Bonzi on the Zanatti Racing Harley with a jump from the outside of row 1. But slotted into second is the red-hot number 2 Kenny Coolbeth on the Zanatti Maroney Harley Davidson. By the third turn, inside he goes, to the point. That would be it for the lead. So now the focus moves to the podium. Late in the race, number 5 Ramsar Winery Harley's Jake Johnson was in second place, but the battle for third was getting groovy. And on the last lap, number 7 Sammy Halbert on a Southeast Harley Davidson machine was fighting off attacks of Mees. Mees went to the high side. Halbert had his line down low, and when the flag flew, Halbert holds on for third. The last visit for Knoxville 2012 was an identical podium. Coolbeth Jr., Johnson, and Halbert. Freaky. National champ and factory Harley racer Brad Baker in 6th. Not on the list, but worth a mention, Shayna Texter made the main. She'll be national number 25 next season. Congratulations to her.
Yeah, what can I say? You give me, this equipment that they provide me is just flawless. And, I keep on preaching on it, but I'm having fun. So that's what it takes for me to go fast. And, good equipment. Best equipment, I think, is out there. And great people to work with. The Athertons, Dave Zanatti. It's just great people. It's fun. And I look forward to the weekends now. So it's good all around.
After 4 of 15, Coolbeth is leading the way. And after Daytona 1, Coolbeth has gone 1-2-1. Defending champ Baker back in 10th. Not the best start for a title defense. West Virginia's Snowshoe Mountain played host to the 7th annual AMSOIL Snowshoe GNCC on Sunday, where racers from all over the world converged atop the largest ski resort in the Mountain State to try to conquer the toughest race course on the circuit. After 3 hours of battle between man and machine, it was factory FMF KTM's Caleb Russell who came out on top. And here's how he did it. Now, first off, an unusual start format for this one. GP style start with live engines and rows of riders. They're gridded by their overall position. And they start on pavement. That was pretty cool. But Snowshoe is a tough one. About 18 miles a lap, in and out of the wet woods, with mud and a lot of stress on the machines. But out of the gate, it was the points leader Russell who got the jump. But with time adjustment coming into play, you had to keep an eye on timing and scoring to see who was where in this race. Like third row starter, Ride MPS.com AMSOIL Honda's Thad Duvall, who quickly made his way into second place position with about 20 seconds of time adjustment on his side. Factory Husqvarna's Andrew DeLong motored himself into the battle by lap 2, where he exchanged positions with Duvall and NFAB Ampro Yamaha's Jordan Ashburn throughout the first 3 laps. However, things quickly took a turn for the worse for Duvall. On the 4th lap, just as he broke into the overall lead on the adjusted time clock, Duvall began to experience mechanical issues that ultimately ended his day with a tow back to the pits. But as the laps wore on and the track wore down, it was all Russell who finished 3 minutes adrift of the rest. Confirmation of your top 10, Russell, Ashburn, and DeLong enjoying the crowd's cheers. Baylor, Pips, Bach, and Strang for 4th, and the familiar name Ryan Sipes in 10th. But let's hear from our winner, Caleb Russell.
It was a fun day. I got off to everybody got off to a good start. We started in rows of 5, but I got out there and Jordan or Baylor, one of them kicked up a rock and it knocked my canister off my goggles, and I was like, oh man, it's not going to be good. And I pinned it real quick and got in the lead, and I went as hard as I could to kind of gap him a little bit because I knew I was going to have to stop and get goggles. And but the first lap, I walked most of that one side, and I was pretty confident and comfortable going fast. So, I went pretty good and was able to open up a little gap. And I liked the track. It was fun. There's parts that I didn't really favor me, and parts that I had a lot of fun with. But it's a give and take situation, especially in off-road. But it was a great day.
With Charlie Mullen still out with injury, Russell is pulling away as we head into the break, with 4 rounds remaining when race action continues in early September. In the XC2 class, it was Grant Baylor who took his KTM to victory. Trevor Bollinger and Nick Davis all took home a nice piece of hardware. The points have Baylor over Ricky Russell at the moment. These racers having a long time to make adjustments, train, and think about the remaining 4 rounds at the beginning of September. After a 2-round absence from the top step of the podium, Wienen Motorsports Yamaha's Chad Wienen returned to prominence on Saturday at the 5th stop of the 2014 Mountain Dew ATV Motocross National Championship by capturing his 3rd overall win. Time to see how he did it. To Nashport, Ohio we go in the inaugural Built Ford Tough Briarcliff ATV National from Briarcliff MX. In Moto 1, hometown racer Josh Upperman put his Baldwin Motorsports Honda into the early lead by grabbing the hole shot. However, Upperman quickly came under fire by BCS Performance Can-Am's Ronnie Higgerson, who surged into the lead on the opening lap. Following a 4th place start, Chad Wienen made his move past both Upperman and Higgerson on the same lap by tripling the back section of the track to take over the lead on lap 3. As Wienen began to pull away, Upperman reclaimed 2nd from Higgerson. After a solid start, Wienen Motorsports Yamaha's Thomas Brown worked his way into the podium position on lap 6. Out front, Wienen took the moto win by nearly 4 seconds, causing the rest of the field to once again be on notice, while Upperman fended off a late charge from Brown to finish 2nd. Wienen, Upperman, and Brown, your top 3. Hetrick made a last lap pass to grab 4th, with Higgerson and Natali rounding out your top 6. As the gate dropped in Moto 2, it was Natali with the hole shot, and he set a strong pace early, helping him hold off a hard-charging Wienen. Behind this duo up front, Higgerson, Hetrick, and Brown also went wheel-to-wheel as Upperman looked to rebound from a start deep inside the top 10. Natali kept Wienen at bay for 3 laps, but on the 4th, the defending champ made his move. Natali sat comfortably in 2nd. Higgerson gave way to Brown for the final spot on the podium on lap 6. Wienen cruised to the win out front, crossing the line nearly 7 seconds ahead of Natali, while Hetrick held off the hard charge of Brown and Upperman for 3rd. So Natali, a nice 2nd place finish with Joel Hetrick 3rd. Louisville, Ohio's Josh Upperman rounding out the top 5. But I know you want to hear from our winner, so here's Chad Wienen.
Wanted to start really bad. John edged me out, and I just made some quick work of guys in front of me, and just really made it happen. Got John down here at the bottom of the hill, came up next to him, and both of us were battling for that spot, and I had the edge on the inside and kind of gave him an option to let off, and both of us came together down there, and inside guy I was able to make it happen and pass for the lead, and just being able to ride my own race out there again, just as I did the first moto.
Wienen's first moto sweep of the 2014 season helped extend his lead in the AMA Pro ATV class standings in a big way, earning 12 more points than his competitors. A 3-way tie in the points for 2nd resulted in the need for the 2nd moto tiebreaker, which allowed Hetrick to finish in the runner-up spot 4-3, thanks to his podium effort in Moto 2. Wienen remains the only rider in the AMA Pro ATV class to have an overall podium result in each of the first 5 rounds of the season. His control of the ATVMX standing now sits at a comfortable 41 points over Hetrick and Natali, who sit tied for 2nd following Briarcliff. Brown maintained control of 4th, 60 back, while Upperman remains in 5th. In the Pro-Am class, it was Tyler Hamrick on his Honda, finishing 1st overall with a win in Moto 1 and 2nd place in Moto 2 over Jeffrey Rastrelli. He finished 3rd in Moto 1, 1st in Moto 2, and how about Ironman Ronnie Higgerson finishing 3rd overall with 4th and 3rd. Yep, the same one who is racing in the Pro class. So far in the Pro-Am class, we've had 4 different winners in 5 races. The only 2-time winner sits atop the leaderboard, 20 points ahead of his next rival, Hamrick. Rastrelli, he had a win in round number 3, and Cam Koval, he was round number 1 winner. In the ATV 2014 AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series presented by Maxxis, the championship battle is well underway between Chris Borich and Walker Fowler. But Saturday's AMSOIL Snowshoe GNCC wasn't necessarily centered on the two frontrunners. Two multi-time snowshoe winners, Adam McGill and Brian Wolf, engaged in a 2-hour-long battle for the overall win, and it was West Virginia's very own McGill who emerged victorious in the end. Same unique start as the bikes, 5 across, live engines, and 10 seconds between rows. GT Thunder-backed Brian Wolf was a heavy favorite heading into this year's race, and the Ohio native proved exactly why, as he jumped into the early lead on the adjusted time clock. However, it didn't take long for the NFAB AmPro Yamaha of Walker Fowler to regain the lead by lap 2. Reigning champion and current XC1 points leader Chris Borich held the second place position behind Fowler, and rookie Jay Shadron sat close behind in third. As the group checked in for lap 3 of 6, Fowler didn't surface. Reports later that Fowler snapped his chain and had to be towed into the pits. From there, McGill and Wolf continued to trade the lead back and forth all afternoon. Final lap, the duo were neck and neck on the adjusted time clock. Since they weren't physically battling, Wolf admittedly stopped pushing as hard near the end, and that's when McGill put his head down and finished out strong, capturing his first win of the season and his third career win at Snowshoe. Hondas dominate. McGill, Wolf, and Jared McClure delight the Victory Circle crowd. Then the Suzukis of Bithell and Borich completing the top 5. In the standings, heading into the long mid-season break, Borich has 24 in the bank over Fowler. But close behind is Adam McGill, having a solid year. The AMA Pro Superbike Series is the premier road race series in the U.S. But with a huge break from March until June, not much racing happened. So the owner of a pro team and monthly magazine, John Ulrich, decided to take on promoting 3 races during the downtime. And some of the biggest names in the sport showed up to race. Round 1 was held in Fontana, California at Auto Club Speedway. In the Pro Superbike class, after a fierce battle between 5 riders, it came down to Yamaha and Suzuki. And in the end, it was number 36, Yoshimura Factory Suzuki's Martin Cardenas, victorious over Monster Energy Graves Yamaha's Cameron Beaubier. After running off the track twice, Josh Hayes was able to recover to 3rd overall. Roger Hayden, who was your fastest qualifier, faded to 4th.
Oh, it feels awesome to win. That's always the goal for a racer, try to win the race, and when you've done it, it feels so awesome, especially in a place that you are not 100% comfortable, but the Yoshimura Suzuki team did an awesome job setting up the bike the way I like, and I worked perfect for the race.
FIM points dictate this one, so 25 for the leader and on back. Only 3 races to decide the number 1 plate, so every point is important. The second pro class, Pro Sport Bike. This one came down to domination and redemption. Redemption in the form of Yamaha Extended Services, Monster Energy Graves Yamaha's Garrett Gerloff, who had a miserable start, but marched through the field into 2nd. And domination in the form of one latest motorsports triumph rider, Bobby Fong. He didn't put a wheel wrong all race and just checked out from the start. Hollywood, California's Benny Solis on his H35 Yamaha, rounding out the podium. Early leader Jake Zemke faded to 4th, with JD Beach, the other Yes Yamaha, not able to answer Gerloff's pace in 5th.
Oh, it feels good. I had the best bike out there, and my latest Triumph 675 was working awesome, and it's just I can't give it up to my crew. They worked hard all weekend. We had a little spill this morning, but hey, we recovered and we got the win. So want to keep the momentum and bring it to next week.
As you might have guessed, Fong is your leader. The question becomes, can Bobby dominate the rest of the season, or will someone step up and challenge? By the way, those races are airing on MAB TV right now, so check out SuperbikeShootout.com for more information. Now, the FIM ENI World Superbike Championship made a stop in Misano, Italy over the weekend. World Superbike is a 2-race format, both races happening a few hours apart on Sunday. And we have 2 Americans in the field racing American-made EBR 1190 RX Superbikes, just so you know. Reigning world champ Tom Sykes was impressive in Italy, in race 1 scoring a 5-second victory over his factory Kawasaki teammate Loris Baz. Marco Melandri on the factory Aprilia coming 3rd, with former AMA Pro Racing pilot and 2012 World Supersport champ Chaz Davis 4th. As for the Americans Jeff May and Aaron Yates, both had to retire with technical problems. In the second race, Sykes again. This time Baz only spotted him 3 seconds to victory. Melandri just 4/10 behind the Frenchman. Fan favorite Eugene Laverty, the first Suzuki in 7th. Only May started the race, but had to retire again. As for the championship, Sykes is starting to pull out a slight advantage over Sylvain Guintoli and Baz, but just after the halfway point. There are still 12 races to run, so anything can happen. A quick look at World Supersport. Jules Cluzel on the MV Agusta F3 675 pulled off a great win in front of the brand's home crowd. But look at third place, New York's PJ Jacobsen, his first World Supersport podium, and only the second American to ever stand on a World Supersport box. The first, Jason Pridmore at Laguna Seca, way back in 1998. In the chase for the trophy, Michael Vandermark leads him on a Honda CBR 600 RR, but Cluzel is close. PJ up to 7th so far. Colton Haker won round 3 of the 2014 Geico AMA Endurocross Championship inside a Sleep Train Arena in Sacramento, California. The Rockstar Lucas Oil JCR Honda rider dominated the day by setting the fastest hot lap, winning his heat race, and then passing Beta USA's Cody Webb to take the main event win. But don't take my word for it. The start of the main event was intense as number 2 Webb, number 10 Haker, number 3 Mike Brown, and number 1 Taddy Blazuziak were all locking handlebars fighting for the $500 Nexen Tire Hole Shot Award. Webb ultimately took the lead ahead of Haker, while Brown was pushed back to 6th and Blazuziak was all the way back in 11th. Webb number 2 led the first 3 laps over Haker number 10 as the battle had the crowd on their feet. Haker was able to pull even with Webb, exiting the water hole on lap 3 and made a clean block pass to take the lead. Webb tried to retaliate in the next corner, only to grab too much front brake, which caused him to go down. Webb knocked FMF KTM's Taylor Robert over as he got up, but they got going again in 2nd and 3rd. Haker took advantage of the gap to ride a safe main event and take his 2nd career win. Series champ Blazuziak held the final podium position to the end, and Taylor Robert finishing 4th. Mike Brown on the Husqvarna 6th. But how about that Colton Haker?
I got a good start, like I said, and got in 2nd. Followed Cody for a little bit and kind of pressured him into a mistake, I felt like. And from there, kind of got a little bit of a gap when I think he went down. And I just tried to stay really smooth and consistent, and I came on top.
Before we get you out of here, let's take a look at the week's racing so you can get out and experience racing for yourself. Get to Blountville, Tennessee and the Red Bull Tennessee National from Muddy Creek of the Lucas Oil's AMA Pro Motocross Championship. That's on Saturday. Also on Saturday, head over to Lima, Ohio for round 5 of the AMA Pro Dirt Track Championship. That's at Allen County Fairgrounds. If you're around Millville, Minnesota on Saturday and Sunday, check out the Mountain Dew ATV Motocross Championship. That's at the Spring Creek Motocross Park. On Sunday, round 6 of the Kenda AMA National Enduro Championship is going on in Marquette, Michigan. Enjoy the weather and the woods. And if you're in California at Mammoth Lakes, at Mammoth Mountain, it's the Women's National Motocross Series, WMX. They're racing round 4 of 8, and you don't want to miss it. All right, so if you have any questions, perhaps there's some footage from your local race and you might want to see it on the show, well, shoot me an email. It's greg@racertv.com, and we'll see about getting your stuff on the show or even on the calendar. And hey, if you're a motorcycle racer or a fan and you want to stop by the RacerX Show studio on a Tuesday, let us know. Come on in and check us out. We're in Morgantown, West Virginia, about 80 miles south of Pittsburgh, just off the I-79. Well, that's it for show number 1. We hope you enjoyed it. We sure did. For the fine crew here at the RacerX Show, presented by Chaparral and Racer TV, I'm Greg White. And remember, we're all racing all the time. See you later. Bye-bye.